Welcome back to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? That sinking internal catastrophe when you're mid-conversation and your mind just, it goes blank.
Oh, absolutely.
One second you're engaged, the next you're just sort of staring, silently screaming because every single word you've ever learned has just vanished. We call it conversational paralysis.
It's a truly universal feeling.
Right.
And that moment of instant cognitive freeze, it often defines how we view our own social skills. We walk away feeling, inadequate.
Right, like you missed a chance to connect.
Exactly. And that specific, painful experience is our mission today. We are diving deep into a fascinating collection of source material research techniques, all designed to analyze and really dismantle conversational anxiety.
So the goal today is to move beyond just wishing you were better at talking and instead focus on the nuts and bolts of how to always have something ready to say. We're analyzing these practical strategies aimed at creating what one source perfectly called a library of ready-to-use replies. This deep dive is like a shortcut to making dialogue feel natural and energetic and, sustainable.
Yeah, even when you're nervous or just tired.
Exactly.
But we can't start building that library until we really understand the architecture of the block itself. And the sources are very clear on this. Running out of things to say is not a reflection of your intelligence
Oh, that's a relief.
or your personality.
Yeah.
It is a highly common psychological hurdle.
Because it really can feel like a personal failure sometimes.
Yeah.
So what are the mechanics behind this conversational freeze?
So our sources, they identify 4 primary psychological barriers.
Yeah.
These are the things that prevent people from generating a fluid reply.
Okay.
The first one is maybe the most obvious, but it's also the most paralyzing. The fear of being judged.
Mm-mm.
We worry that our thoughts aren't clever enough or funny enough or interesting enough for the person who's listening.
And that worry immediately triggers the second barrier, which is just lethal to...
That's a flow, yeah.
Exactly, to the flow. It's overthinking the response. Instead of allowing a genuine, immediate thought to come out, our internal editor just steps right in.
Totally. And we start worrying about grammar, tone, political correctness, all of it.
Before a word even comes out.
Right. When you engage that critical editing part of your brain, you introduce a cognitive delay. You're no longer reacting. You're like writing and proofreading a mini essay in your head.
Which leads right to the third barrier, right? This desire to provide a perfect answer.
Yes, the perfect answer.
We treat conversation like it's a high-stakes performance review instead of just a simple exchange of energy. That pressure for perfection is what makes us feel silent.
It is entirely counterproductive. The pursuit of the perfect answer, it pretty much guarantees delay and almost always results in silence.
So what's the fourth one?
And then finally, the fourth barrier is just simple uncertainty. The lack of a system for figuring out which topics are, appropriate or safe.
Ah, so you hesitate because you don't want to accidentally step on a landmine.
Exactly. Especially with someone you don't know very well.
What's so insightful here, I think, is the fundamental principle that seems to solve all 4 of those barriers at once. The material stresses that conversation isn't about technical perfection. It's about connection.
That is the absolute key takeaway. People overwhelmingly remember the energy you exchanged with them.
Right, the feeling.
The positive feeling, the genuine interest you showed, far more than they remember your precise vocabulary or your perfect syntax. If you can project authentic interest, your brain stops worrying about being perfect and it starts focusing on just being present.
Okay, so let's use that principle and get into the strategies. The first technique is designed to stop that freeze before it even starts. Strategy 1, the react plus add method.
This strategy is so elegant in its simplicity, it's a mandatory 2-step process. It ensures you validate what the person said while immediately giving them a new conversational runway.
So step 1, react. This is just a simple acknowledgement, right? Enthusiasm, surprise, something that shows you hurt them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then step 2, add. You follow up that reaction with a new comment or, and this is the more powerful option, a related question that expands the topic.
Okay, let's break that down.
The material gives a great illustration. Imagine someone says to you, I started learning Japanese last month.
Right, and a nervous person might panic or just say, cool, and then crickets, the conversation just dies.
It dies. But using React plus add, you're forced to stay present. The reply is structured. It becomes, oh, nice, that sounds exciting. How are you finding the writing system so far?
Ah, I see it. Oh, nice. It's the reaction, the energy. And the question about the writing system is the addition that deepens the topic.
It works because the reaction fulfills that emotional connection requirement. And the addition gives your brain an immediate, simple task.
Hmm.
Formulate a related question. You don't have to invent a whole new topic out of thin air.
And to train this, the sources recommend drilling 3 very versatile practice lines. So these aren't things you're going to use forever, but they help build the neural pathway.
Right, just to get the muscle memory going.
The first one is, really? Tell me more about that.
That's the classic expansion line. Shows interest, demands they elaborate.
Then there's the curiosity line. That's interesting. What made you choose that?
And finally, a quick, enthusiastic validation.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
So drilling those isn't about becoming a robot. It's about training your subconscious to always validate the react and then ask an expanding question, the add.
Precisely.
That makes a ton of sense. We're building mental muscle memory. But what happens when you've reacted, you've added, and the person just gives you a short answer? Or the topic just kind of runs out of steam?
Good question.
I mean, we can't keep asking about the Japanese writing system forever.
No, you can't. And that is where strategy 2 comes in. Strategy 1 solves the freezing problem. Strategy 2 solves the running out of topic problem. This is where we use safe topic bridges, the emergency exit ramps of conversation.
That is the perfect way to put it. They are universally accepted, low-stakes topics that let you pivot smoothly without making the transition feel awkward or forced.
And the material gives us 5 really reliable ones, right? Categories that work pretty much anywhere.
Yep. 5 universally applicable categories: food, travel, hobbies, work or study, and weekend plans.
And you can see why they're safe. They're not too personal.
Right. They require very little emotional vulnerability, but they still let the other person talk about themselves, which, most people enjoy doing. Everyone has an opinion on food or a place they've been.
But the key isn't just knowing the topics. It's using the right bridge phrase to make the pivot feel natural.
Absolutely. You have to verbally connect the fading topic to the new, safe one. For instance, if someone was talking about a really intense deadline at work, you don't just suddenly ask about their vacation.
Right.
You bridge it. You say, wow, that sounds exhausting. Speaking of that, do you have any weekend plans to recover?
That's great because it validates their stress and then offers a lifeline to something lighter. Or say someone was describing a complex family issue, which can be a risky thread. You could say, that's fascinating. That reminds me, do you like cooking? Or is food something you leave to others?
See how smooth that is? It's not a conversational crash. It's a planned, gentle turn. If you're talking about an old college memory, you could bridge it with, oh, by the way, what's your favorite place you've visited since then?
So these bridges just keep the whole thing in motion. Okay, let's move to strategy 3, which feels like it goes a step further. This is for when you want to inject more of your own substance without dominating. This is the IC plus share trick.
This is a really robust 3-part method, and it's designed to create depth and, crucially, maintain conversational equality.
Equality. Okay, so what is the 3-step flow?
Step 1, acknowledge what they said.
Yeah.
You can use a simple phrase like, I see, or that makes sense. Step 2, share your own small related experience, and the key word is small.
Right. Concise.
Very concise. And step 3, ask a related question back to them. This makes sure the momentum immediately goes back to the speaker.
So you validate, you contribute a little piece of yourself, and then you loop the flow right back out. And let's walk through that example from the sources. The person's statement is, I love going to cafes to study.
Okay, so the reply hits all 3 steps. I see, that's the acknowledge.
Yep.
I actually go to cafes when I need motivation. That's the share. Do you have a favorite one you rely on? And that's the question back.
Okay, I have to challenge that share part a little bit. If I'm already nervous about freezing, sharing my own experience seems like it could open the door for me to accidentally monologue, How does this actually ensure equality?
That's a great point. The key is in that word, small. The share has to be brief and directly related. Notice in that cafe example, the speaker shares one single sentence about why they go to cafes, and then they immediately pass the baton back.
So the structure itself forces you to be concise?
It forces you to limit your contribution and prioritize the other person's input. It's a mechanism for, controlled vulnerability.
It's not about telling a 5-minute story. It's just enough personal context to show you relate, which strengthens the connection, and then you ask a focused question to return the energy. It's elegant.
It creates texture. And for those moments when even a 3-step flow feels too complex, we have strategy 4, which is the ultimate confidence booster. preparing your go-to lines.
Ah, this is where we stop relying on spontaneous brilliance and start relying on a solid structure.
Exactly. The psychological benefit of having these ready-made lines is that it dramatically reduces your cognitive load. When you know you have an immediate, high-quality, pre-vetted response ready to go, the anxiety centers in your brain just, they calm down.
You stop scrambling and you just access the library instead.
That's it.
And the sources claim these 4 lines are so versatile they can handle something like 90% of basic social interactions. That's a huge return on investment for memorizing 4 phrases.
It really is.
Yeah.
They're designed to fit nearly any scenario where someone is sharing something new or interesting about their life.
So the first one is great for curiosity. That's cool. How did you start doing that? Works for a new job, a new hobby, anything.
Then there's the motivation line. I'm curious, what do you like most about it? This gets the speaker to reflect on their own passion, which is a really powerful way to connect.
And for just immediate, low-effort validation, there's the simplest one. Oh yeah, same here.
That is pure conversational oxygen. It builds instant rapport with almost zero effort.
And finally, the appreciative response that works for any story, even if you weren't fully following the details. Really, that must have been fun.
Yeah. If you just default to one of those 4 lines when your mind freezes, you've done 3 things right away. You've maintained the energy, you've shown interest, and you've bought yourself time to actually absorb what they said. That's the power of preparation.
So this entire deep dive, when you look at all the strategies, React plus add, the safe topic bridges, IC plus share, and these go-to lines, it's really about removing the pressure of invention.
Yes.
And replacing it with the comfort of a solid structure. We're shifting the focus entirely.
We started by talking about the anxiety of conversational paralysis. By practicing these techniques, the focus moves from the fear of failure to the mechanics of flow. Conversation stops being this frightening performance.
And it becomes a predictable, manageable process.
Exactly.
And this brings us back to that really crucial insight. If you've spent this time learning these 4 strategies, and 90% of your replies are now handled by these structured templates, where does all your mental energy go?
You're no longer scrambling to formulate the structure of a reply. You're now free to dedicate, 100% of your attention to the content and the energy of the person you're speaking with.
So you can actually listen.
You are truly absorbing their message, their emotion, their nuanced delivery. You're fully present.
So the ultimate deep dive into confident communication, then. It isn't about having the perfect response ready. It's about having the framework so solid that your brain is freed up to do the most important part of conversation. Truly listening.
If the structures are automatic, your presence becomes immediate. And that radical shift in your attention is what forges real connection.
A profound thought to leave you with. Keep practicing those go-to lines and keep diving deep with us next time.